Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and the KD16 has been leaked, guys. So actually KD leaked these pictures, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, I posted this on Instagram and a lot of you guys seem to like it. There were some, not so good comments, but the majority was like, oh, it actually looks pretty good, right? So before we get into that, we have some better pictures of the Zoom GT Jump 2, right? Which is weird because okay, so the Zoom GT Run is the first shoe that came out, in the GT series. So Nike GT means greater than, right? And then we had 3 shoes. So we had the Run, we had the Jump, and then we had the Cut, right? And I believe the Run came out first. I might be wrong on that, but I mean, the Run 2 hasn't been leaked, so I wonder if they're gonna keep that series going, but it seems like they're gonna try to keep the Cut series and also the Jump series going, right? But yeah, the Zoom GT Jump 2 traction looks pretty not durable. It's just lines, very, very thin lines. Yeah, it looks not very durable. Like there's not a whole lot of grooves, and also the rubber looks super thin, so probably not going to be durable. But as far as the actual stop goes, we'll have to see. That has mostly to do with the rubber compound, right? So there is the traction. Also from the bottom of the shoe, in the heel, we can see React, right? We can see that React pattern with some holes in it. And I guess there are some cutouts in the outsole as well, the rubber outsole, probably trying to reduce the weight. And then the cushion is absolutely insane, right? So not only does it have React, actually, I'm pretty curious if it's like full-length React, right? So you look in the heel, it says Nike React, right? With that white foam, right? So that white foam is definitely React, but we have that blue foam kind of like on top of that. So is that also React, or is that like just a carrier? Is that Phylon probably, right? But also we have 2 bottom-loaded Zoom units, it looks like, right? And it reminds me a lot of the Zoom Freak line. The Zoom Freak 3 and also like the Zoom Freak 4, I believe, had that, bottom-loaded Zoom unit design, and it has that, what is that? Is that it's probably plastic, right? With a little swoosh on there, but that seems to be caging the Zoom unit a little bit as well, which is good, I guess. It does seem to protrude out a good amount though for making the shoe wide, so you have better lateral stability, of course, which is a good thing. That's a pretty crazy outrigger, right? So hopefully it's not too laterally unstable. It looks pretty good so far, but like I said, there is that Zoom unit, which is probably gonna have a good amount of compression. But here in the heel, the rubber outsole does come up to cage that React as well, but that's not the only thing for the cushion, guys. So only that would be pretty insane, right? I guess like the forefoot is not super insane because it looks like it's bottom loaded Zoom, even though that Zoom unit looks kind of thick, right? But so shout out to koala_HSH for these pictures. But like, okay, so first of all, the insole looks it looks like a styrofoam insole. I believe it was in the KD14. Yeah, KD14 and the KD13 had that more like stiff, like styrofoam type of insole. And then the KD15, I believe, oh yeah, the KD15 had it as well, right? So not super nice for the insole, but you don't really need a super nice insole because you have full-length Zoom Strobel, right? But also, this shoe has full-length Zoom Strobel, and that's a very clear indication of the articulation of the full-length Zoom Strobel unit. That's why I like full-length Zoom Strobel better than just like a forefoot Zoom Strobel, just because like forefoot Zoom Strobel units kind of like found in the Jordan 37, it's just like there's no articulation, so it's kind of like those like platforms that are filled with air that you see people trying to balance on to like strengthen their stabilizer muscles and tendons or whatever. That's what it kind of feels like. Obviously not on that level, but like, the Jordan 37 it's double stacked, it's super crazy, there's a lot of compression, so it kind of felt unstable, and to top it off, it wasn't articulated, right? But also the Zoom unit is probably a little bit thicker, for the forefoot Zoom Strobel unit versus the full length version. But anyways, we have articulation, so that's very nice. So we have that, and then the React in the heel, and also the bottom loaded Zoom units. So I don't know, as far as like the bottom loaded Zoom units in the forefoot, it's probably not gonna add that much compression because it looks, or it seems to have like a layer of foam between the full length Zoom Strobel unit and then the bottom loaded Zoom unit. So probably won't add like that much, which is probably a good thing because the original one was freaking crazy. So but this one still seems absolutely insane. I'm very curious as to how that React is gonna feel though in the heel. And then of course we have the material. The material seems like the Zoom GT Jump was like 170, 180 bucks, and like the material quality doesn't seem that good for the price. You know, it just seems like a textile material, right? It also like kind of looks like linen weave, you know what I mean? Like if you look at the actual like where the swoosh is, you can kind of see like a material going through the upper, which is pretty interesting. It does look very thin though, which is a good thing, but I think overall the shoe's probably gonna be pretty damn heavy, right? So there are some better pictures of the Zoom GT Jump 2. And of course, we got the Jordan 38 coming out soon, which I'm pretty damn excited about, and also the Luka 2s. And then the Jaw 1s are coming out on the 18th, which I'm pretty excited about as well, which is in a couple of days. But yeah, as far as the KD16 goes, the KD16 looks, I don't know, guys. It doesn't look amazing to me. I don't know. A lot of you guys said it looks like the KD15, which I guess like the overall silhouette, it looks very similar to the KD15. It does seem to have that lateral counter, right? So like here in the KD15, we have this plastic lateral cage, right? But here in the 16s, it also looks like it's plastic, but I wonder if it's like separate, because if you look at the KD15, this is separate, right? This kind of like comes off a little bit, even though it's more like stitched onto the upper. But the KD16, it looks like it might be a part of the upper, right? And then we have a little bit of plastic coming up in like more in the midfoot, which is pretty interesting. And it also reminds me of the pennies, right? The overall design on the lateral side reminds me a lot of the pennies. And then there is no big swoosh in the middle. I guess like the KD13 had that oversized swoosh. The 15 also had it. The 14 had a pretty big swoosh on the strap. But the 16, there's just a small swoosh on the heel, right? And then as far as the cushioning setup goes, what do you guys think it'll be? What do you guys think? It's definitely going to be full-length Zoom strobe. I guess KD, you know, Kevin Durant just likes full-length Zoom strobe, so that makes sense. We've had full-length, so since the KD8, there's been full-length zoom, right? The KD8 had crazy zoom. Same thing with the 9, same thing with the 10. The 11 had full-length zoom. It wasn't zoom strobe, it was just full-length zoom, but it was still pretty crazy. And then the 12 is the shoe that started full-length zoom strobe, right? If I remember correctly. And then obviously the 13, 14, 15. So I'm guessing the 16 is probably gonna have full-length zoom strobe. The foam, however, what do you guys think the foam's gonna be? It was Cushlon here and also Cushlon here. The KD13 was very not nice because obviously the heel was just rubber and it was pretty clunky in the heel, but the 16 does not seem to have that. You know, it seems more actually very like uncaged, right? So it'll probably have a lot of compression, but we have yet to see like the back of the shoe, right? The back of the shoe here, like in the heel of the KD15, this was caged a little bit, not allowing for as much compression in the back of the heel from the foam. But the 16, it doesn't look like it'll have that caging, right? Which is pretty cool. We have like this red colorway looks pretty sick. I like that red colorway, that red and white colorway. This purple one looks pretty sick as well. And there is like that, is there a gradient? It actually looks like there's a little bit of a gradient there, and then also the foam is a different color from the forefoot to the heel, which is actually pretty cool. So I'm guessing like they're gonna do some really cool designs for the colorways of the KD16. I mean, honestly though, the KD15 colorways were a very big disappointment for me. Like none of the colorways really look that good in my personal opinion, right? The traction, we have not seen any pictures of the traction, but KDs have been freaking amazing. The 13 was top tier, absolutely amazing traction. Same thing with the 14 and same thing with the 15. All these shoes were on the top tractions list every single year in a row. So 16, I have no doubts. It'll probably have amazing traction. Also, the upper looks a lot better as far as the quality goes compared to the KD15. The KD15 had, although I didn't really mind it like on foot and for performance, this mesh material was super cheap feeling for the price, right? 150, 160 bucks, and probably the KD16 is gonna be around that price as well. It's always been around 150, 160 bucks. Besides, remember like the KD8, they tried making it like the premium shoe, and I think it was like 180 bucks. And the same thing with the 9 and 10. I feel like from the, no, not the 11, probably from the 12, they started reducing the price, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this will probably be around 150, 160 bucks. The materials, it looks like a textile mesh, right? And then like around that, kind of like around the perimeter of the upper, it seems to be more of like a, probably like a nubuck, like a synthetic type of material that goes kind of like around the entire shoe, right? But yeah, honestly, it's growing on me a little bit. I am liking it. When I first saw it, I was like, not a huge fan, but it's looking pretty good so far. And I do like the colorways as well. It's just a super simple looking shoe, but it looks like it's going to be a very good performer. So the KD15 released June 25th of 2022. So basically almost a year ago, by like 2 months, I guess. It's April, and then May, and then June. So it'll probably be coming out soon. Usually the KDs come out during the summer. So I am pretty damn excited about it. But KD's always, I mean, since the 13, it's been a top performer, right? So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics of the KD16 down in the comment section below. And also, what do you guys think the cushioning setup is going to be? Probably just the same as, you know, but as far as the foam goes, I wonder what the foam's going to be as well, right? But anyways, that about wraps it up. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.